call this regular meeting of the Raton City Commission to order. Des, could we have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mayor Sagata.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Chatterley.
Present.
Commissioner Schuster.
Present.
Commissioner Giacomo. And Commissioner Honeyfield.
Here. Would y'all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. A couple of announcements. Our next regular city commission meeting is Tuesday, June 24th, 2025, 6 p.m. here in the chambers. And we have introduction of a new employee, Mr. Mestes.
Mayor and Commission, I'd like to call for Deputy City Manager Jason Phillips.
Mayor and Commission, JR couldn't be here this evening, so I volunteer to introduce his new employees. First off, we have Mr. Desi Pice, now a Visitor Information Specialist, joining us this evening. Desi, welcome aboard.
Welcome.
You gotta come to the...
Next up, we've got Addix Welch, Gianna Morris, who is here this evening, Xavier Sandoval, and Christopher Messolmi. Did I butcher his name? There's a lot. Thank you, guys.
All right. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
That is our club.
All right.
Thank
you, sir.
you.
Thank you. Let's go. Committee reports from commissioners. Commissioner Honeyfield. Commissioner Schuster.
I have no report right now. Sorry.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I have a few reports. So, North Central New Mexico Economic Development District Executive Committee and Board met April 24th in Santa Fe, and the Executive Committee met again June 3rd. We discussed the typical stuff, budget adjustments, RFPs, ICIP, and the 2026 contract with Aging and Long-Term Services, which needs some adjustment. Just a little. There was a special presentation regarding the WIN program, the Workforce Integration Network program. They requested a one-year extension under the Good Jobs Challenge grant with a focus on construction and healthcare. They want to explore the public sector and not just the private sector, and which has been pretty slow, especially in Colfax County. And so I believe we were invited to attend a meeting on that a couple weeks ago. The Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, or CEDS, input is complete for the entire region, and I think they're now soliciting input from people who weren't able to attend in person. Some good news is the North Central is expecting around $450,000 for grant writing support, which is really integral for us. I know we've used their services multiple times for FY 2026, so that they should have plenty of money to continue those programs forward. $2 million was received for senior citizen mobile home replacement. However, other senior services are facing potential cuts. They had the non-metro AAA Innovation Summit, which I hear was awesome. North Central is working with the Restoring Our Communities program here in Raton on some housing projects. And so that's why we were looking at affordable housing items last agenda. And we also discussed community healthcare workers, which would apprentice through the WIN program, and that's a potential thing that's coming up. And our next meeting is going to be June 26th in Red River. They're going to do a location meeting and not just meet in Santa Fe. The Municipal League Budget Committee met May 20th on Zoom. Member dues will be going up as they fluctuate with GRT distributions. The budget is going to the full board this Thursday, which is our next board meeting. The Water Board met on May 20th. I was actually on the phone, so I did my best here with my notes. It was hard to hear. Lake Maloya is full and spilling. I was just up there. There's a lot of water. Filter plant production in April was 30.3 million gallons with a peak flow of 1.2 million gallons a day. Cimarron System Phase 1 continues to be worked on to get the full communication working effectively. We thought it was going, and then there were some issues. They're going to replace some hydrants after the Western Woods fire. The 3 million gallon water storage tank rehab project bid award was made, and the engineering services for the project. We approved engineering services for improvements to the wastewater infrastructure. Vehicle purchase was approved mostly for out-of-town travel, and if anyone wants to join, we'll meet on the third Tuesdays at 5 right here in the Commission chambers. Our next meeting is June 17th. The Exit 451 Raton Clayton Interchange Artwork Committee has met and selected 5 finalists, and we meet in July to view those 5 portfolios and choose one. Ports to Plains, it looks like all 3 of our delegation members, Congresswoman Ledger Fernandez, Senator Heinrich, and Senator Lujan, did submit the Interstate Planning Fund for the location study at Raton of $1.6 million, and that would have a $400,000 New Mexico DOT match, and that money will probably be used to be working on planning for the whole corridor and get public input on that. I also attended a meeting with the Nature Conservancy, and they're going to be coming to the commission in August to do a big update for everyone and for the public on Bartlett Mesa and Buck Ridge. Attended the Summit of Governments with most of the commission, and not most of the commission, with just the mayor and I guess, and of course our city manager, at Vermejo on June 3rd, and met at Sugar Creek Canyon State Park regarding trails, and attended a Zoom meeting regarding the Climax Canyon Goat Hill Trails Plus grant. And that is my report.
Alrighty, thank you. As for myself, attended the Summit of Governments up at Vermejo Park. That was very informative. Sat in on a design meeting with the engineering analytics and the city manager for the North Underpass. Did attend the Colfax County Senior Citizens Board meeting this morning. Things going on there. They're going to get about $55,000 less this year than they did last year, so that is going to be a substantial hit to their budget. I think I reported last meeting, but all the sites up in the northern part of the state lost $219,000 in federal money. So the state, we're trying to make up with it in the state. What we call PSA 3 got additional federal money, so we pulled state money from them to try to balance out best we could the communities up here, but the Colfax site took about a $55,000 hit. So they're going to be watching their pennies. They had some policy changes. They're revising their annual leave and all of that. They're going back to the accrual method. So that was coming up. We talked about the oven, and suggestion was made to try an experiment down there. Well, the manufacturer tagged the ovens out, and they can't operate them. So, Plan B, whatever that may be, I'll leave that up to the engineering team back there and see what they can come up with. And they have an election of officers. Looks like 4 of them, 3 of the 4 that are up for approval are going to stay on. One of them, the representative from Cimarron, has decided to step down. So they'll be looking for a Cimarron representative. And what else did we do? Self-insurers fund, I was unable to attend their meeting due to being out of town at my grandson's wedding. So other than that,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Other than that, that's all I have. All right. Item 6, items from citizens present. Anyone wishing to address the commission at this time may do so. However, if it's something regarding an item on the agenda, please wait until that item comes up. Seeing no hands, we're going to move right along here. Item 7A, deliberate and act on approval of May 27th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. If you have no additions or corrections, the minutes would stand approved as presented. None? Minutes stand approved as presented. Item B, presentation, Raton Main Street and the Center for Community Innovation for the Rocky Mountain Microfinance Institute and Entrepreneurial Boot Camp. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, we request that this item be postponed due to the principal presenter having to make a last-minute trip out of town.
Alrighty.
Motion to postpone the presentation.
We have a motion and a second to postpone. Any further discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item C, presentation, Youth Heartline and New Hope Family Counseling. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, we request that this item be postponed due to this item being associated with the commission action item at our next meeting.
Alrighty.
Motion to postpone the other presentation.
Second. A motion and a second to postpone. Any further discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, public hearing, Infrastructure Capital Improvement Plan, ICIP, fiscal year 27-31. Mr. Messis.
Mayor and Commission, in your packet is a copy of the Infrastructure Capital Improvement Plan. We're doing this a little backwards tonight because the next item impacts ICIP, but one major adjustment is to move the Raton Depot multimodal renovation down on the list and maintain the ask for $1 million. As this is a public hearing, I will defer to you for additional comments, and there's no vote on this action tonight.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Mestis? Any questions from the public?
I already gave my comments at the last meeting.
Yeah, I think we've all spoken. Again, get in touch with the Water Trust Board. This is the year to do the dam project. This is the year.
That's damn DAM.
That's dam DAM, yes. Any other comments? Seeing none, we'll move on. Item E, deliberate and act on capital appropriation project grant agreement A 24-I-2081 between the New Mexico Department of Economic Development and the City of Raton. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, in your packet is an agreement between the Economic Development Department and the City of Raton for a Main Street grant not to exceed $1,100,000 for the Raton Depot renovation, which will complete stabilization of the structure, including the exterior roof, walls, structural elements, and to upgrade the building mechanical systems. The city recommends that you vote in the affirmative on this act.
All right. This is for renovations of the depot. Long time coming. Great job, Main
Yes,
Street,
we
again.
appreciate our
coming
partners.
through. We love it.
It's amazing.
Any questions or comments? Would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the capital appropriation project grant agreement I-2081 between the New Mexico Department of Economic Development and the City of Raton for $1,100,000.
We have a motion and
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
we could just note that we will have a $275,000 matching fund obligation for this project. We'll have to assign it a budget number and so forth.
Okay. So did you all catch that? 275,000 matching? Any other comments?
Do you want me to amend my motion to include that there will be a match, or?
Probably should.
Okay, I will amend my motion to include that there will be, did you say 270?
270.
75, sorry, match from the city on that.
Second. We have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Good job. Good job, gals.
Main Street.
Thank you.
Item F, deliberate and act on letter of commitment from the City of Raton to the New Mexico Department of Transportation for the East 10th Street Bridge project. Mr. Messer.
Mayor and Commission, In your packet is a letter of commitment from the City of Raton to the New Mexico Department of Transportation for the East 10th Street Bridge project. The award from federal discretionary spending is in the amount of $240,000, and the City of Raton will be responsible for matching funds in the amount of $40,899 towards the project. The city recommends that you vote in the affirmative on this act.
Questions, comments?
Is that, I know we wished it could come from gas tax, but it will probably be general fund? Is that what we're thinking? Okay.
And this is just the design, or what are we buying?
This is just the design, isn't it? Correct?
I believe so,
It's
yeah.
a planning and design phase, so maybe not even complete design.
And this is the bridge that we all love so much, right?
Right.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the letter of commitment from the City of Raton to the New Mexico Department of Transportation for the East 10th Street Bridge project.
A second?
A motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? I know we've been working on this project a long time. All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item G, deliberate and act on vector control service agreement between Colfax County and the City of Raton. Mr. Messer.
Mayor and Commission, this is our agreement with the county to pay up to $5,000 a month for pesticides and their delivery. The city will notify the county of those areas that are not to be sprayed due to health or environmental reasons. Please note that this is a $2,000 increase from last year when we paid $3,000, which is an increase of 66.67%. In speaking with Commissioner Trujillo earlier, the reason for such an increase is that this has not been increased in several years, and the cost of chemicals and everything has gone up. So this is an across-the-board increase for everybody. The city recommends that you vote in affirmative on this act.
It's not 5,000 a month, it's for the months that they provide the services, we'll pay up to $5,000, basically for the summer. So last year, and the previous years, it was $3,000 per month.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
That's correct, monthly.
Yeah,
It said monthly.
it was kind of deceiving.
Okay.
Apologize.
So it's a cost not to exceed $5,000.
For the summer.
Kind of remembered. Any other questions, comments?
I will make the comment, I know the former city manager used to make sure to let everybody know that if you're a sensitive person, if you don't want your area sprayed, you can call City Hall and let them know and they'll avoid
Same
that
if
area,
you're-
just like he mentioned, the health,
Yeah, if you're raising bees.
Bees.
If you have bees in that, please let us know.
calls.
All right, any other comments?
I'll make a motion to approve the vector control service agreement between the Colfax County and the City of Raton not to exceed $5,000.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item H, deliberate and act on Resolution 2025-37, election resolution for regular local election on November 4th, 2025. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, a regular local election is to be held on November 4th, 2025 for the following commission offices: District 2, District 4, District 5, each for a four-year term. All declarations of candidacy shall be filed in the office of the Colfax County Clerk on August the 2nd between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. And all declarations of candidacy for write-in candidates shall be filed in the office of the County Clerk on September 2nd, 2025 between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. The city recommends that you vote in the affirmative on this measure.
And that date to declare is August 26th. I think you said the 2nd.
26th.
Okay. Yeah, August 26th.
I'm not having a good night tonight.
Neither are the Rockies. Any-
Better than the Rockies.
Any other questions, comments?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-37, election resolution for regular local election on November 4th, 2025.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve Resolution 2025-37. Any other questions, comments? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item I, deliberate and act on resolution 2025-38, adopting changes to the travel policy relating to the reimbursement and travel for per diem and mileage expenses for public officers and employees of the city while on city business. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, for the next three items, I, J, and K, I yield the floor to Raton City Chief of Staff, Ms. Michael Ann Antonucci.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. You'll see attached to Resolution 2025-38, we do have a memo that we received. We actually received this memo annually in May from DFA, alerting us to any increases in the state per diem rates. This also includes the meal rates for actual reimbursements, and then we have the partial day per diem rates as well. So you can see the history there since FY21 to now what the FY26 will be. The in-state has more than doubled. We probably went 20 plus years without any increase, so we were at that $85 rate, which is an all-inclusive rate for your hotel and your meals. So I don't know too many places where you can get a hotel for $85. So it's good to see that they've kind of had gradual increases over the past few years. So we do bring this to you for approval. If it is your wish to adopt these new rates, the in-state per diem would be $180. Special area for Santa Fe County, $249, and then the out-of-state is the same as the in-state at $180. We have brought several actions to you throughout the year for out-of-state travel where the rates, exceed, especially like Washington, D.C. and areas like that. But we'll continue to bring those to you for special authorization and approval on those types of trips. But we do encourage the employees to, try to find a government rate for one, so that hopefully I think this is an adequate reimbursement rate. And then for partial day per diem, the rates are listed there, and actual reimbursement for meals has increased from 59 to 70. So with that, we would request your approval. Stand for any questions.
Questions?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-38, adopting changes to the travel policy relating to the reimbursement and travel for per diem and mileage expenses for public officers and employees of the city while on city business.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve Resolution 2025-38. Any further questions? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item J, deliberate and act on Resolution 2025-39, annual review and approval of the City of Raton lease accounting policy. Mr. Mestis. See Michael Ann staying there, so I guess we're hearing from her.
Mayor and Commission, for most of you, you'll recall, and you'll see in the document that July of 2021, there was a new GASB pronouncement, number 87, and it was specific to leases. So ever since then, we've had to include in our annual audit report information on leases. There is a schedule in our audit report that the auditors prepare. Per our policy, we're really only concerned with leases that are $15,000 and above. One of the ones in particular is the Colorado Division of Wildlife lease, and we also have a building lease with RPS. So those are the two right off the top of my mind that I believe are represented in our audit report because they do amount to $15,000 or more annually. I do bring this policy to you just as part of the policy. We state that we would review it during our annual budget process. I am not proposing any changes to it other than on page 3 under item G. I would need to change that to reflect the resolution number, which is 2025-39, and today's date, June 10th, 2025. So that would be the only change. I stand for any questions.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-39, annual review and approval of the City of Raton lease accounting policy.
Motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2025-39. Any further discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item K, deliberate and act on Resolution 2025-40, fiscal year 25 budget adjustment number 15. Michael Ann?
Mayor and Commission, I bring to you a fairly simple budget adjustment, various line item adjustments in different departments and also in our Economic Development Fund. Lori, I know you picked up your packet on Friday and I did put a corrected one in your box. There was no changes to the numbers, just I think there was a typo in one of the line item numbers, and above the word executive, I think there was a line that shouldn't be there. So anyway, I cleaned that up. Everybody else has the correct copy. With that, I stand for any questions, but recommend approval.
Questions, comments?
Nope.
How did the telephone service go down?
Well, you know, we this year our phones went to a VoIP system, so rather than like basing it on a per call charge, we've now broken out the bill based on the number of extensions that each department has. So when we developed the budget last year, we didn't really know how that was all going to break out, but that was part of the new voice over internet phone system. I think came online probably in August, September this past year. I don't know, can't remember, but after we did last year's budget. So what you'll see in this budget adjustment and maybe some others that I have between now and our final submission, I'm just looking for line items that have unspent monies, and I'll kind of reallocate things to balance the budget here at the end.
Questions?
Motion to adopt Resolution 2025-40, FY25 budget adjustment number 15.
Motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2025-40. Any further discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item L, City Manager Report. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, the second annual, bottom line up front, the second annual Northeast New Mexico, Southeast Colorado Summit of Governments was held at Vermejo Park on Tuesday, June 3rd. Sponsored by the City of Raton, this year's summit attracted key leaders, managers, and professionals from the federal government and Colfax Union counties in New Mexico, Huerfano, and Los Animas counties in Colorado. The goals were clear: continue design, develop, and deploy world-class multimodal transportation solutions for the region with the strategic emphasis on the I-25 corridor and the soon-to-be I-27 Ports to Plains Alliance and other regional routes. Mentions and dispatches, I'd like to give a shout out to Deputy City Manager Jason Phillips for his efforts to secure over $1 million to save the Raton Rail Depot. The Treasurer is finalizing the budget for FY 25-26. Public Works is working hard on the ball field for the All-Star Games scheduled for the next 2 weeks. Police are recruiting for 3 police positions. Fire are recruiting for 4 positions. The engineer will soon be taking over the responsibility of animal control to bring the city in line with other municipalities in the state that combine code enforcement and animal control in order to streamline efforts to address problems that are in many cases related. In facilities, I am pleased to announce that progress on Kearney School will begin soon through a more fragmented process than was originally planned. The clerk, due to the interest in the items on the previous agenda, the clerk has experienced an increase in the number and complexity of IPRA requests. In economic development, the Economic Development Department spoke today at the Rotary Club to discuss the many initiatives being put forth by the city. And finally, some closing thoughts. There are 2 related events coming up that are near and dear to me. The first is this Saturday marks the 250th birthday of the United States Army. The Army was an experience that transformed my life and gave me confidence to face any clash that may come my way. Minot Judson Savage, an American Unitarian minister, once said, "The brave never die, though they sleep in dust. Their courage nerves thousands of living men." Which brings me to the second event. A week from Friday, our sister city to the north in Trinidad will welcome home Sergeant Horace Mestis. Though we share the same last name and what I call the correct spelling, I'm not sure of our actual relationship. Sergeant Mestis was a member of I Company 3rd Battalion, 21st Infantry Regiment, 24th Infantry Division. He was only 20 years old when he was reported missing and killed while serving our country in the Korean War. He went missing north of Seoul, South Korea, while his unit supported defensive rearguard tank engagements during a withdrawal on April 25, 1951. Though the circumstances surrounding his loss are unknown, a surviving member of his combat team reported that Sergeant Mestis was killed during an ambush when the enemy overran their position. At the time, the overwhelming enemy forced the survivors to withdraw before they could recover their fallen comrades. The U.S. Army determined him to be non-recoverable on January 16, 1956. However, members of the 565th Quartermaster Graves Registration Company had recovered 1 set of remains in the vicinity of the defensive position after the battle where Sergeant Mestis went missing. At the time, those remains could not be identified and were subsequently buried as an unknown in the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. In July 2018, the Defense and POW MIA Accounting Agency proposed a plan to disinter 652 Korean War unknowns from the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. In 2019, as part of Phase 1 of this project, a set of unidentified remains were sent to the POW MIA Accounting Agency laboratory at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam in Hawaii for analysis. The laboratory analysis and the totality of circumstantial evidence available established the remains as those of Sergeant Mestis. Through those efforts, his remains were positively identified on January 31st, 2025. On February 4th, 2025, his family was notified of the positive identification, and next Friday, June 20th, or a week from this Friday, he will return to Trinidad and will receive full military burial with honors and a flyover. George Patton said it best, "It is foolish and wrong to mourn the men who died. Rather, we should thank God that such men lived." For the record, the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency has this year, in 2025, accounted for 85 remains from World War II, 36 remains from Korea, and 3 remains from Vietnam. More than 81,000 service members remain unaccounted for from conflicts dating back to World War II. Finding those service members and bringing them home is a sacred duty and our nation's promise to bring them home. Godspeed, Sergeant Mestis, and welcome home. That's my message.
All righty, thank you. Final comments, Commissioner Honeyfield. Commissioner Schuster.
So, you guys have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
I'm in Minnesota with family.
All righty, have a good one. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thanks.
I think we discussed potentially having a budget workshop again soon. I just wanted to put that on everyone's radar. I talked to Mr. Mestis today potentially about the first Tuesday in July. I don't know, just so we can get it on our calendar.
Did we talk about the first Tuesday in July or before the first meeting in July? Come in earlier.
Oh, come in on the 8th early?
I seem to remember that.
Do you want to do that?
I don't know what we talked about. I had mentioned to the city manager today that, I mean, we could have multiple ones or just one. It's helpful to me to be able to close out the fiscal year, June 30, and at least calculate kind of ending cash balances and, you know, come back to you with maybe a revised draft based on some of those cash balances, and then we could make other revisions. But I do have to have a final to you by the July 22nd meeting, so.
Well, why don't you see how far along you can get, and then we can get together.
Like I said, it's not critical that I close out the fiscal year, but sometimes a lot of our changes depend on where we end as far as cash balances.
All right,
Fair point.
good enough.
Sounds good.
I have no other business. This meeting stands adjourned.